Hello, good morning. Um, I have to start my timer, and in fact, I have started it, but I will restart it. Okay, it's done. Now, I had almost missed today's session. I was asleep, and luckily, I woke up at 6 a.m. Right, exactly 6 a.m. And um, I have my white shirt on today, and although I am feeling a lot dizzy these days, but I am trying to cope with the dizziness and as well as trying to regain my physical strength as well as emotional strength. So I will start reading. Um, the pleasure we found in working together made us exceptionally patient. It is much easier to strive for perfection when you are never bored. Perhaps most important, we checked our critical weapons at the tool. Both Amos and I were critical and argumentative. He even more than I, but during the years of our collaboration, neither of us ever rejected out of expected. We found that I'm having touch screen issues. Oh my god, bad things. Technical difficulties. Ah, um, I don't know. Mm, I lost where I was. Um, I will start rereading. I have lost where I was. I will reset the counter. Okay. Um, it is much easier to strive for perfection when you are never bored. Perhaps most important, we checked our critical weapons at the door. Both Amos and I were critical and argumentative, even more than I. But during the years of our collaboration, neither of us ever rejected out of hand anything on the other side. Indeed, one of the great joys I found in the collaboration was that Amos frequently saw the point of my vague ideas much more clearly than I did. Amos was the more logical thinker, with an orientation to theory and an unfailing sense of direction. I was more intuitive and rooted in the psychology of perception, from which we borrowed many ideas. We were sufficiently similar to understand each other easily and sufficiently different to surprise each other. We developed a routine in which we spent much of our working days together, often on long walks. For the next 14 years, our collaboration was the um, focus of our lives, and the work we did together during those years was the best um, either of us ever did. We quickly adopted a practice that we maintained for many years. Our research was a conversation in which we invited questions and jointly examined our intuitive answers. Each question was a small experiment. We carried um, out many experiments in a single day. We are not seriously looking for the correct answer to the statistical questions we posed. Our aim was to identify and analyze the intuitive answer, the first one that came to mind, the one we were tempted to make even when we knew it to be wrong. We believed correctly, as it happened, that any intuition that the two of us shared would be shared by many other people as well, and that it would be easy to demonstrate its effects on judgments. We once discovered with great delight that we had identical silly ideas about the future professions of several toddlers we both knew. We could identify the argumentative 3-year-old lawyer, the nerdy professor, the empathetic and mildly inclusive psychotherapist. Of course, these predictions were absurd, but we still found them appealing. It was also clear that our intuitions were governed by the resemblance of each child to the cultural stereotype of a profession. The amazing exercise helps us develop a theory that was emerging in our minds at the time about the role of resemblance in predictions. We went on to test and elaborate that the theory in dozens of the following example. As you consider the next question, please assume that Steve was selected at random from a representative sample. An individual has been described by a neighbor as follows: Steve is very shy and withdrawn, invariably helpful, but with little interested people or in the world of reality. A neat and tidy soul, he has a need for order and structure and a passion for detail. Is Steve more likely to be a librarian or a farmer? The resemblance of Steve's personality to that of a stereotypical librarian strikes everyone immediately, but equally relevant statistical um, considerations are almost always ignored. Did it occur to you that there are more than 20 million male farmers for each male librarians in the United States? Because there are so many more farmers, it is almost certain that more mercantile souls will be found on tractors than at library information desks. However, we found that participants in our experiments ignored the relevant statistical facts and relied exclusively on resemblance. We proposed that they used resemblance as a simplifying heuristic, roughly as a rule of thumb to make a difficult judgment. The reliance on the heuristic caused predictable biases, systemic errors in their predictions. On another occasion, Amos and I wondered about the rate of divorce among professors in our university. We noticed that the question triggered a search of memory for divorced professors we knew about, and we judged the size of categories by the ease with which instances came to mind. We call this reliance on the ease of memory search the availability heuristic. In one of our studies, we asked participants to answer a simple question about words in a typical English text. Consider the letter K. Is K more likely to appear as the first letter in a word or as the third letter? As any Scrabble player knows, it is much easier to come up with words that begin with a particular letter than to find words that have the same letter in the third position. This is true for every letter of the alphabet. We therefore expected respondents to exaggerate the frequency of letters appearing in the first position, even those letters, such as K, L, N, or V, which is in fact occur more frequently in the third position. And again, the reliance on a heuristic produces a predictable bias in judgments. For example, I recently came to doubt my long held impression that adultery is more common among politicians than among physicians or lawyers. I had even come up with explanations for that fact, including the aphrodisiac effect of power and the temptations of life away from home. I eventually realized that the transgressions of politicians are much more likely to be reported than the transgressions of lawyers and doctors. My intuitive impression could be due entirely to journalists' choice of topics and to my reliance on the availability heuristic. Amos and I spent several years studying and documenting biases of intuitive thinking in various tasks, assigning probabilities to events, forecasting the future, assessing hypotheses, and estimating frequencies. In the fifth year of our collaboration, we presented our main findings in Science magazine, a publication read by scholars in many disciplines. The article, which is reproduced in full at the end of this book, was titled Judgment Under Heuristic Uncertainty, Heuristics and Biases. It described the simply find shortcuts of intuitive thinking and explained some 20 biases as manifestations of these heuristics and also as demonstration of the role of our heuristics in judgment. Historians of science have often noted that at any given time, the scholars in a particular field tend to share basic assumptions about their subject. Social scientists are no exception. They rely on a view of human nature that provides the background of most discussion of specific behaviors but is rarely questioned. Social scientists in the 1970s broadly accepted two ideas about human nature. First, people are generally rational and their thinking is normally sound. Second, emotions such as fear, affection, and hatred explain most of the occasions on which people depart from rationality. Our article challenged both assumptions without discussing them directly. We documented systemic errors in the thinking of normal people and we traced these errors to the design of machinery, agents, um, cognition, rather machinery of cognition. This is a very interesting thing. And machinery of cognition rather than to the corruption of thought by emotion. Our article attracted much more attention than we had accepted, and it remains one of the most highly cited works in social science. More than 300 scholarly articles refer to it in 2010. Scholars in other disciplines found it useful, and the ideas of heuristic and biases have been used productively in many fields, including medical diagnosis, legal um, um, medical diagnosis, um, legal judgment, intelligence analysis, philosophy, finance, statistics, and military strategy. My timer has ended. I have read quite a few um, books, quite a few. I mean, I have to reframe my idea. I have read about 10 minutes today, and I don't know. I mean, um, I am feeling sick from last 3 weeks or so, and my emotional neediness has increased a lot. I'm seeking a lot of comfort, and I have been using the tools I had so far, and I have learned um, a few of the journaling tools, and I am really lucky that I uh, found a good therapist to discuss my emotional issues. And as the book says, being corrupted by emotion. I mean, what are the triggers um, that I need to take into account to create the emotions? Like, what are the triggers of my being abandoned or being disrespected? If I take one single example, like um, being respected by other people or being respected by thyself is a human need. But um, as well as if I consider like it's not other people's responsibility to respect me. Everyone is focusing on his or her own life. So uh, what makes me feel respected or disrespected, I have full control on it. I mean, if someone is approaching towards me with slang, or someone is approaching with me in irrational um, irrational voice or argument, I would definitely um, love to react. But I'm really happy that yesterday I was really triggered of with such an incident, but I have stopped myself to respond, react. And these days, I'm trying to um, understand the difference between reaction and response. Um, if I talk very clearly, and primarily being in a better relationship with myself, that I respect myself as well as value myself as well as others. And I mean, there's 2 point here. I mean, human dignity, restoring my dignity as well as restoring um, other people's dignity whom I am in connection with. So that's the point. I am trying to understand and make sense every day. Like, if someone coming up with me with false allegations or um, being abusive, what are my responses, or how I will respond to that, as well as um, I control my emotions. Uh, I mean, I do not lose control. Like, I mean, this has been an issue for my life, and um, I have been trying to be more aware of my emotions, like where I take it from, and how it is being triggered, and how I can um, better manage my emotions. Like, em- we are humans because of emotions, I know, and emotions are the end product of any human interactions, and um, as well as it's like a double-edged sword. Like, emotions makes us humans being in difference with robots or um, people who are like truly mechanical or mechanical objects, but as well as emotions, like if we do not process emotions well, or if we process emotions with abuse and violence, it kind of creates a lot of problem in our inner world as well as in the society. And mm, so obviously there is a peaceful solution, and hate begets hate. And I have been trying to cultivate inner peace and inner harmony, and um, once again, one day at a time, and reclaim my sanity. Like, I'm not against anybody, I'm not pro anybody, I'm only trying to fight my subconscious negativity, like triggering when I am triggered by negative emotions, and when I experience explosive emotions and the urge to act out. I ca- i mean I have the awareness to stop myself, or I maintain the awareness to stop myself being triggered by emotions and bring more havoc in my life. So yesterday I was almost triggered, and then I had stopped myself to be being I mean stop myself being triggered, and I really loved that how I managed that situation. I didn't um, I didn't act out with um, anger, and I didn't act out with abuse, and I didn't hurt myself as well as I didn't hurt someone else. And um, another idea I have in operating my life these days is like everything comes from within. That means I um, construct my reality from the information I gather in day to day life, and as well as looking at the signs of positivity every day, and um, avoiding negative people, negative influence. And mm, I have been doing that, and I'm really happy that I am doing that. Such as yesterday, I had a damaged note, and the place where I take tea every day, or most of the days, um, the old man was very nice and kind to me. He didn't um, say anything, and he kept the note. He could have deported or could have rejected the note. And um, these days, I'm trying to fight my inner delusions, like there is something more or conspiracy going on there, rather than accepting the reality or the truth at this moment. Um, Such as I have taken a test lately, and for a long time I had this belief that I should perform more. Still, I believe that I can do better in that test, and I have once challenged the score of this test too. But later, I accepted that my language skills needs a lot of work, and I'm trying to find out the places I am not good, and I have accepted the result, and I have moved on from there, and I'm trying to find out um, the areas where I need to work on, and I know the test very well. So probably some of my answers were not up to the mark, or I was not answering the right way. And the third thing is also, as well as I have accepted defeat, like the marks I was expecting, I didn't receive that. So I'm trying to find out the lackings, like where have I have been lacking. Is it my lack of practice, or is it my ability, or is it something that happened on the test day? And I don't know. I mean, some people may can succeed without trial and error, but I have never um, achieved any success in my life um, with without a constant trial and error and consistent daily hard work. So um, I I am facing right now two challenges. One, I mean, re, one is the test I am retaking. I need to achieve certain amount of a score there, which is internally making me a little bit frustrated and depressed. But I am happy that I have found a specific reason. And secondly, I am struggling with my physical and mental health. I'm feeling a lot weak and dizzy, as well as I am seeking a lot of comfort emotionally because of the things going on with my life. So I'm trying to rebuild my social circle, um, and I am happy that I have wonderful support, and this is something I had realized many years back before that um, if I look for something, I will find it. So I'm looking for support. A lot of times, for a long time, I was working with the idea of emotional self-reliance, but um, then I realized lately that as a human being, I have the need to being listened to. If someone I'm talking with and sharing everything about my life um, with full trust, is giving me um, a huge amount of comfort, and like that person is not solving any of my issues or any of my things, any of the problems I'm facing, but I am feeling a lot better, which I have realized very lately. And I'm really happy that I have good friends and a good support system supporting family, and as well as I'm trying to avoid all inner and outer conflicts. And if there is a like there is some amount of conflict that is popping in, and I'm trying to um, deal with it peacefully as much as I can. I mean, peace both in the inner world and the outer worlds, like um, healthy emotional detachment, as well as um, I'm also trying to be assertive and speak the right um, sentences when I need to speak. So this was I had in today's reading, and hopefully I will come back tomorrow, and I'm really happy if anyone listening to me If anyone doesn't, I simply don't care. I'm just doing it for myself. So, thanks a lot. Have a good day. Why is this stop button?